Hi, good Wednesday, and welcome back, and thanks for being here on yet another beautiful day in the neighborhood, above average, and we've got more to come around the corner from there. A cold front that is going to hold off or keep at bay pretty much anything that may have made its way into the viewing area from Hurricane Matthew. So we'll talk about those two different parts of the weather forecast tonight, the local one and how a lot of folks on the East Coast, of course, are being evacuated. It's a mandatory situation now, affecting, I'm sure, as is the case with us, a lot of friends or relatives who live in that area. Some vacationers getting in a little late time off as well, having to change their plans. And this hurricane is also showing signs of possibly looping around and making a return trip, as if the initial trip isn't going to be bad enough. Local headlines tonight include an interview with a man I met earlier today biking across a great portion of Kentucky. I'll tell you what he was doing through here, who he is, and how you can support his cause, and it's a good one. He's also coming back for a few events, and they look to be fun ones at that. They're already working on in the next, relatively few weeks or few months. Ulysses Crace, his competency hearing has been determined. His competency has been determined pending an order released yesterday. We'll tell you what that was and how it relates to the trial against he and, of course, Mayor Bob Porter, which is wrapped up, of course, but still he is awaiting sentencing. We'll also have some other local headlines and information and a few follow-ups to begin in just a few seconds after only one state report tonight, and it is coming as what looks to be another feud on the state level. At a press conference just earlier today, it was not the Attorney General, but this time Kentucky House Speaker Greg Stumbo, who announced that he is requesting legislators to investigate what he calls potentially illegal actions by Governor Matt Bevin concerning the governor's attempts to get House Democrats to switch political parties, applying what he said was pressure, as well as stopping a road project that was approved in the waning days of Governor Steve Beshear's term, but when Bevin took office shortly thereafter, it was a project, more than a $11 million project, that was put on hold by his administration. State Representative Russ Meyer, who's from Nicholasville, said he believes the project was stopped because he didn't respond well to what he called overtures or threats by the governor. And of course, one of those was the voicemail, which has been made public in the past several days, in which he made statements toward Meyer that he considered to be threatening. Stumbo emphasized today that the state had to pay the road contractor some $625,000 for the project that was halted. Bevin's chief of staff says that the Transportation Cabinet have said for months that the project, the East Brandon Road project, was rushed by Beshear's administration, and the state had not yet acquired the land to build it on, and therefore that was the reason that the project was put on hold. Nevertheless, he is going to be investigated, that being the governor, by this committee, which has been put together. It will be made up of 5 members, we believe, of the House. It will be called the House Investigatory Committee on Executive Actions. 5 House members, including the chair, which is Representative Jim Wayne of Louisville, who, of course, is also a Democrat. One local announcement before I go to local headlines tonight, and I ran into our friend Gumby. And, I mean, that just pretty much sums it up. Everyone knows him as Gumby. He and the Masonic Lodge are, as they have been for years now, having their Coats for Kids drive, and they're about $1,000, maybe a little bit more short. They've still got some time to go, and it's not unusual for them to be that short at this time, but, times are tight. But this is a great cause, a very worthy cause, and if you know Gumby, anyone in the Masonic Lodge would like to help, please give them a call. They're taking up donations. I ran into him at the post office today just as he had opened up a very gracious donation of a couple $100, I believe it was, from someone, but they're still short and could use your help, and it's a very worthwhile cause. They're hoping to have enough to support about 30 kids that are handpicked from throughout Magoffin County, and it's a big deal, and we hope you can support them. With that said, Ulysses Crace's competency hearing has been held, and we do have the verdict, if you will, or the decision made in that. We also have information that appears as though he will continue as far as his case is concerned. We also believe that a trial has been set in his case. While Paintsville Mayor Bob Porter, who of course is allowed to keep his position until all appeals processes have been exhausted, has been officially set to be sentenced on Thursday, January the 12th in Pikeville after being found guilty on 3 of the 4 counts against him. Another co-defendant, Larry Harold, of course, has already taken a plea deal reached with the federal government before Porter's trial. And the third and final co-defendant in the superseding indictment, Ulysses Crace, was the last one to know if he would stand trial after he was ordered to undergo a competency hearing at the federal or competency evaluation at the Federal Medical Center in Lexington. He was released from that facility in late August. Then yesterday, Ulysses Crace and his attorneys were present for a competency hearing before Danny C. Reeves, the U.S. District Judge for the Pikeville Federal Court. It was during yesterday's competency hearing that attorneys representing Crace and the court all agreed with the decision which was made by the medical center, in which Ulysses Crace was deemed competent to stand trial after a thorough evaluation. After taking that into consideration, Judge Reeves set a trial date in the case, Monday, October the 17th at 9 a.m. That is 1 week from this coming Monday in Pikeville. Attorneys for Crace did try to appeal to the judge for more time to prepare for the case. However, Reeves ruled that no further delay for the trial was warranted. Crace, of course, indicted for giving Porter basically cash in exchange for contracts with the city of Paintsville. And now, barring any other delays or circumstances that may arise, he will stand trial once again on Monday the 17th in Pikeville, Kentucky. It's a trial the government is expecting to take up to 2 to 3 days, shorter than the 8-day estimate that the Porter trial was given, a trial which did not last the full 8 days either. In a follow-up from a report that started out of Morgan County with a 2-vehicle collision involving an SUV and a motorcycle weeks back, we have some more details about the couple who had just become engaged. The fiancée, who was just about to turn 47 before she died, both killed when their vehicle collided or were struck by an SUV that crossed the center line, driven by a woman from Elliott County who has since been indicted and jailed just last evening, shortly after I left you at the 6 o'clock program, for charges of murder in their deaths. State police tell us tonight that they've arrested 42-year-old Teresa Haney of Elliott County. They took her into custody at her home last afternoon or evening after the investigation led to her indictment on charges of murder for the deaths of a couple who was on a motorcycle ride on the evening of August the 6th. It was while they were traveling northbound on Route 7 in Morgan County that their motorcycle was struck by Haney's SUV, which crossed the center line. Driving that motorcycle or operating that motorcycle was 46-year-old Thomas Tufts of Flemingsburg. His passenger, 46-year-old Janet Caskey of Clearfield. Both were thrown from the motorcycle. Mr. Tufts was pronounced dead at the scene. Miss Caskey, however, was airlifted from the scene to the St. Mary's Hospital in Huntington, where she passed away from her injuries 6 days later. Haney is facing 2 counts of murder and was lodged in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center in Johnson County. Toxicology reports, we're told, were a key factor in the arrest. However, that has not been made public, nor any other details of the investigation, just that Haney was arrested last evening and is still lodged in the Big Sandy jail. Stay tuned. A few messages. Be sure and let these folks know you're watching when you can, and I'll be right back. For high-speed internet starting at 15 meg for all of your gaming, movie, home, and business solutions, or to watch TV, including your favorite local channels without a contract, with hundreds of channels and digital and HD quality, and to stay connected 24/7 with friends and family, a direct line to 911, or to give your business the link it needs, choose telephone service you know is always there. Just click on their link on this site to find out how affordable the latest technology in communications can be. Foothills Communications. Today was one of those reports that I so enjoyed doing. I got to meet yet again another individual trekking across our state or our nation in respect for drawing attention to their cause, whatever it may be. This time it was a Kentuckian, a man on a bicycle, a very motivated man, I can certainly say. Anyone who jumps on a bicycle to trek 100, 300 or more miles in an effort to try to draw attention to his cause, inspired by something that has greatly affected his or her life, well, that's certainly inspirational and newsworthy. This gentleman, originally from Whitesburg, was also a 12-year coal miner who, like thousands, lost his underground job back around 2012. After that, he started chasing work, and he had to chase it out of state. Just last year, however, he was able to find employment back in Kentucky and made it back to the Commonwealth and moved to Lexington, where he and his wife could be closer to family, among other benefits of being back in the state. Also an ex-motocross racer, A broken back led him to pick up the unmotorized sport of bicycling 3 years ago. And the love for his niece led him to take on his longest ride so far, over 300 miles in about 3 days from Covington to the Cincinnati Children's Hospital to the White Oak Pumpkin Patch last night, where they hosted a fundraiser to help Gary Bentley with his cause, raising several $100s for the Children's Hospital Charitable Care Fund.
So my little cousin, who I refer to as my niece, feel like she's almost a daughter more than anything. She was 18 months old, had liver failure, and had to have a liver transplant. Went to multiple hospitals in the region. Cincinnati was the one that was able to help her get her a liver transplant. And at the time, due to finances, you know, if it wasn't for the programs that the hospital offered, she would have never been able to get her liver transplant and probably wouldn't be with us today. And she is now 15 and had to go back just a few months ago for some follow-up procedures, and was having some issues. And I asked her what I could do to help out, and if there was anything that she wanted me to do, just let me know. And as soon as she got out of the hospital, she came back that she wanted me to raise money for the Charitable Care Fund, which will pay medical bills that are past due at other facilities for families that can't do that, and also provide kids with Christmas gifts and birthday parties, that sort of thing, when families are having trouble economically.
Gary spent the night in White Oak last night after the Pumpkin Patch held a wonderful silent auction with pies, pumpkins, and artist prints. And this morning, he saddled back up to hit over 115 miles on his last leg of the journey.
I'm headed back to Whitesburg for a celebration party at the Heritage Kitchen downtown. And it's more of a celebration of my little cousin's life and her still being here today, but also to celebrate the end of the event and what the Cincinnati Children's Hospital does for everybody.
He describes the journey as one that has given him great opportunity to meet so many people that he otherwise wouldn't have, and at the same time to share his inspiration with a lot of folks along the way.
There was a guy, an older gentleman on a tractor, and I don't even know where I was, but on this 2-lane road, and he shut his tractor off and motioned for me to stop. And he started talking to me, and him and his daughter ended up making a donation online that evening after they talked to me. So, you know, I feel like being on the bicycle, it gives me an opportunity to talk to people, tell my story, and explain what the Charitable Care Fund is for families and for children. And then it gives them that inspiration to help out and to step up.
If you'd like to support Gary and his niece and the Children's Hospital in Cincinnati, you can do so by finding his event page on Facebook at Ride for Hope, Brooklyn's Ride. You can also go to the Children's Hospital website at cincinnatichildrens.org. You can donate, of course, directly to the hospital. You can even find a link on their site to specifically donate to Gary's event. And this won't be the last time you see or hear from Gary. He's already planning an event with some other folks on the Dawkins Trail, and they've got a bike race that they're setting up unlike anything you ever heard on the White Oak Pumpkin Patch Farm. It's going to be a whole lot of fun for a whole lot of folks, and that's just about all I can tell you right now. But as they get plans made and it gets a little closer before the end of the year, we'll be telling you all about that and some other events that Gary and folks from around the viewing area are working on. For the bike race that Gary spoke of, it's not like anything I've ever heard of. It's not really a focus on speed or stamina. Of course, I think stamina would be a good thing, but it's more about entertainment. Hecklers are not just allowed but encouraged. It'll be a track that will be set up, for example, on the farm at the White Oak Pumpkin Patch, and he says it's just a great time, and it's just basically there for sheer entertainment for the spectators, hecklers, and those who participate alike. And they'll be having that maybe in December, so I'll let you know as soon as they get that organized. For now, here's what we've got organized on tonight's McGoffin Farm Bureau community calendar. Tomorrow evening, a beautiful Thursday, and a great opportunity to eat well and sponsor the South McGoffin Fire Department. They're having a fish fry dinner tomorrow at $6 for the whole dinner. Fish, coleslaw, puppies, french fries, and a drink. Come and eat with them or get it to go. And if you can't get your fill, well, you've got another shot by helping out the Burning Fork Community Church Ladies Fellowship Group. They're hosting a heavenly fish fry. They've got Delmer and Yvonne Gross from London coming to fix the fish and the puppies, and then they're going to supply the rest of the fixings. It's $10 per plate. All proceeds going to help the Ladies and Men's Fellowship Ministry outreach events. A heavenly tasting fish fry with all the fixings, and that does include a heavenly tasting dessert as well. That's Friday, 4 to 7 at the Burning Fork Community Church on 114. I almost messed that one up. And take them in while you can, because, before you know it, that big bad thing that starts with a W will be rolling into town, and there won't be any more. So take in this Saturday's Cruise In, hosted by the Licking River Cruisers Car Club, this Saturday at 4 at the McGoffin County Health Department. Free dash blacks, you know the drill, all the fun they have and all the fellowship they have, and just the enjoyment of checking out everybody's ride. And you don't even have to pull in there and anything cool, just pull in, get out, and check out what everyone else has. They, as well, most importantly, will be taking all proceeds and forwarding them on to the juvenile diabetes research cause. So that's the best reason of all to be there this Saturday 4 at the health department. Looking ahead next week, just one I think I need to mention tonight, maybe another real quickly. Next Wednesday will be the Think Pink, the annual luncheon. The McGoffin County Extension Service will be hosting the Think Pink Ladies Luncheon, 11:50, 10 till noon, that is, till 1. They'll have Dr. Aurora, an oncologist, Becky Simpson from the Kentucky Cancer Program, and more. RSVP is not required, but it would be suggested, we'll say, if you can. 349. I still have the wrong number up there. My goodness. 3216 is the number to the Extension office. That's the health department looking at you. My apologies. And a week from this Monday, the 20th Annual United Way Golf Scramble will be teeing off at Stonecrest. Call 886-4480 or find them on Facebook at UW Eastern KY. Find your announcement on the program, birthdays and anniversaries too, by simply getting them to our studio. Mail, email, Facebook, phone, fax, however you want to get it here, we'll hit it on and tell everyone about it. And remember, our show is always on our website at yournewstoday.com. And lastly, funeral announcements. A service provided by our friends at the McGoffin County Funeral Home. And first, a reminder of services to be held tomorrow morning at 11 in honor of 53-year-old Leah Roark of Sagersville, survived by her father Jack Gross, her husband Ellis Roark, son Ellis Jake, and daughters Amanda Wheeler and Haley Roark. Visitation continues this evening and up until services tomorrow morning at 11, all from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. And services will be held this Friday afternoon at 1 in honor of 55-year-old Billy Joe Whitey Gamble of Old Lick Creek Road, who passed away Monday, the son of Berlin Gamble and the late Reba Tackett Gamble. Besides his father, he's survived by 5 brothers and 6 sisters. Visitation is this evening, all day tomorrow, and prior to Friday services that start at 1, all services from the head of Coon Creek Church. And lastly, and in loving memory of Richard P. Love Sr., on what would have been his birthday yesterday the 4th, loved and missed by family and friends. I, for example, have a cousin and her family who live in the Melbourne area in Florida. They actually live on a barrier island, and they were ordered out by 3 o'clock today, and they found shelter, if you will, in or near Orlando. They're just one of thousands and thousands and thousands of people and families who have been ordered to do the same. As Hurricane Matthew continues to bear down on Florida and potentially run right up the East Coast, landfall is not out of the question, nor is this system swirling around and making a return trip and adding further insult to injury. Satellite imagery from NASA shows down at the bottom right of your screen a swirling Hurricane Matthew, a dangerous, life-threatening Category 3 storm, sustained winds of 120, and could be approaching Florida's Atlantic coast by tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock today. Matthew was centered a little more than 205 miles southeast of Nassau in the eastern Bahamas and heading northwest at about 12 miles per hour. And some models are showing that once it goes up the coastline of Florida, it could loop back around to the east and then just basically do a repeat for many of those in its path. Some models showing it not making land on Florida's coast, some showing it very close, and that, of course, will be a big factor. A direct impact would impact 15 million people along the eastern United States. Florida's governor has already determined this could be their largest evacuation ever, and they're encouraging residents to leave now, many under a mandatory evacuation at this time. And as much effect as it could have on so many million Americans, it's not going to really play any part in our local forecast or conditions. We've got a cold front that's going to be pretty much in charge of the area, and you will see that and as we progress down the line here in your forecast. Very little rain chances right now from the National Weather Service and in your forecast from your news today this evening. Low tonight, right around 53, clear skies, a light east wind at most. Look for a little more of that patchy fog in the morning, say 7 to 8, otherwise sunny and near 80 again. Another day, maybe just a degree or two less. I had 83 here at the newsroom earlier today. I think we'll see 80 tomorrow and 80 again on your Friday, and more sunshine all the way through the work week. You will notice as we get into Friday night, and that's mainly after like 1 in the morning Saturday, technically, a 20% chance of showers as that cold front approaches. That same 20% could linger into your Saturday, maybe up until noon or so. But let me say this, that 20% might even be optimistic. I don't see much rain at all. I do see cooler temperatures,